I've taken some time to think about it. My initial thought was cope, as this kit looks to replace the Deathwatch veterans, and I really like the Deathwatch veteran kit. There are so many options, a unique armor pattern, elite special forces space marines. Between Kill Team Cassius and getting 15 marines worth of bits in a 5 veteran box alongside any cheap 10 marine bodies, that got me into Deathwatch. I've played a lot of Deathwatch, and there are so many spare parts in the box. This list that was on the Warhammer website of the contents of the box misses the combi weapon and the additional power sword in the left hand. Games Workshop is bad at listing what their models have, so that is a problem for any future kit, like these new Deathwatch veterans. Losing the kit, the main Deathwatch kit, is a blow, but the new Kill Team can be a good replacement. Maybe. Most of you prefer the new kit, though we don't have the Sprue in our hands. That is what this video has to look at. What we know, what we need to know, and what this situation means for the Deathwatch. In the live stream that revealed the Deathwatch, it stated that there would be 40k rules. What we don't know is if these are Imperial Agents only, Adeptus Astartes, or both. The Sanctifier's Kill Team got rules for an Agents version and an Adeptus Sororitas version. I am expecting both Agents and Space Marines. Agents of the Imperium so that all Imperial players consider buying this kit, and Adeptus Astartes Codex compatible rules after the big fuss this time last year led to the eventual return of the Index Deathwatch. I think Games Workshop's initial plan was to have the Deathwatch in Agents only and this Kill Team replace the Veteran Kill Team. We didn't like that because we have to split up some of our other Kill Teams. Adeptus Astartes characters didn't work in an army that was Deathwatch, and the tanks and the transports and the dreadnoughts can't be used in an Agents of the Imperium Deathwatch army. There are no Land Raiders. There are no dreadnoughts. And playing a Space Marine army allying in some Deathwatch that didn't get the Space Marine Oath of Moment or the detachment rules and couldn't use Armor of Contempt or any of the stratagems, that didn't feel good. Deathwatch should stay Adeptus Astartes or we make a fuss again. We are assuming that this new Kill Team replaces the Deathwatch Veteran Kill Team. It has been unlisted on the United States web store and has been sold out online in quite a few other places. The war gear is very similar. The new models are nice. They look good. But replacing a great box is not so nice. It's like, Stepdad is good, we like the Stepdad, but Buy Your Dad was also pretty good. Games Workshop is your mother in this example. That has a whole new meaning to your dad is a legend. So what does it mean for the Deathwatch faction going forward? Will this Deathwatch Kill Team be the only squad as we go into 11th edition? No Talonstrike, no Proteus, no Fortis, no Indomitor Kill Teams next edition? You can't build them out of one box. And Games Workshop likes you to be able to make the unit from the box that is sold. This is what we saw when the Deathwatch were moved into the Imperial Agents. All of the Kill Teams went to Legends except for the Deathwatch Veterans, which was a sold box. If you want to get some Deathwatch Veterans before they disappear, or the Kill Team Cassius squad, which is in Legends, try my affiliates. They may have it available where Games Workshop does not, and even if Games Workshop had it, my affiliates have it cheaper than Games Workshop. When Kill Team Tomb World is released, also use my affiliates. It is cheaper. So we're assuming that the Deathwatch Veterans, as they were, will go to Legends. Probably. In the case of the Raveners, there was a Ravener set which had 3 to 6 models, and then it was replaced by a Kill Team Typhon which had a Ravener squad of 5 models. Those are replacement rules. There were no Legends rules for the 3 or 6 Raveners. If there are Legends rules, there is a delay after release. So the Space Wolf Codex has been out for a few weeks now, but we have not yet received any Legends rules for the Lost Dog units. From the comments on Warhammer's Facebook page and YouTube, some people appear to think that every unit not sold anymore has Legends rules, and that is not the case. There are no Imperial Guard conscripts, no Celestians with guns. The Imperial Guard generic infantry squad with a heavy weapon had rules at the start of the edition in the Imperial Guard Index, but now has no rules in the Codex and, importantly, no points. so you can't use them in a game. There's no app to build them in. You would have to make up your own points or make up your own datasheets, and that is getting less and less likely that other people will want to play that. This is why it's important to have Legends rules. Even if the points are never updated, even if the rules have errors and problems, like the Kill Team Cassius Legends rules, still have their combat weapon and their Deathwatch special weapon with the same profile. Tiny Knife and Super Special Power Sword are the same. So Deathwatch could go back to Agents next edition as one squad. This one squad. Also the Corvus Blackstar Flyer, the Watchmaster, and Captain Artemis. Probably. If that happened, Deathwatch would once more be models that are Space Marines, but don't have the same rules as other Space Marines. No Armor of Contempt, no combat doctrines. Having only an index puts us on shaky ground. But also Games Workshop did put the Deathwatch into Agents as only the Flyer, the Squad, the Watchmaster, and Captain Artemis, with more units from the start of the edition in Legends like the Proteus Kill Team. Deathwatch should have never been an army is not a comment that comes from people with a Deathwatch army. It does not match the law to play them on the tabletop as a full army, where we shouldn't have so few guardsmen in an Astra Militarum army, or so many Custodes in a Custodes force. Don't be mean to Deathwatch players. We are not stupid for making an army with rules, and it's Space Marines, the faction that is most likely to survive with rules. Having Agents rules, even parallel Agents rules, nicely matches their ability to appear and perform tasks while the Imperial Guard distract the Necron army. Hey, that is just like White Dwarf 272, where the exact thing happened, and that was how the mission played out. So I like Deathwatch to be Agents, and also to be Adeptus Astartes, having rules in two places. It has also worked alright for the Adeptus Sororitas Battle Sisters / Sisters of Battle Squad, and the Grey Knights Terminators. So if this squad gets Imperial Agents rules, they can probably be joined by a Watchmaster and Captain Artemis. For their Space Marine Adeptus Astartes datasheet rules, the same characters, the Watchmaster and Captain Artemis, and hopefully also generic Captain, Lieutenant, Judicia, Chaplain, Librarian, Apothecary, and so on. All the characters that can join, say, a Stern Guard Veteran Squad, not including named characters from other chapters. You won't get Azrael joining a Deathwatch Kill Team. If this squad does not have an Adeptus Astartes keyword unit card, then we have all of the Space Marine problems for trying to run a Deathwatch army. They can't go in a Land Raider. They can't be joined by a Lieutenant or Apothecary from the previous combat patrol. The characters in a Deathwatch army would only be able to join generic Marine units like Stern Guard, painted black. Transports do become an interesting point depending on keywords for the unit. Tacticus armor cannot go in the Firstborn transports like the Rhino and the Razorback in the Adeptus Astartes version. That will probably be the case for this unit. Expect that they will have the Tacticus keyword. This is why I hope the veterans stick around as Legends, so your transports like that can still be used. In Imperial Agents version of the rules, they may be allowed to be transported in a Rhino, as that transports 12 Imperial Agents infantry. They have added the word infantry since Codex release, not models. Though we have seen rules for other Agents kill teams, like the Spectres Kill Team, which is in Legends for the Imperial Agents, that disallow them going in a Rhino. The squad could go in a Corvus Blackstar. Maybe the models in Gravis armor will have the Gravis keyword to take up an extra slot in the Space Marine version. Maybe not. The various Adeptus Astartes keyword kill teams all have infantry, and the Talon Strike kill team, which has some models in Gravis armor, does not have the Gravis keyword. So don't expect these Gravis models to take up an extra space in transports. The Imperial Agents versions have bikes and mixed armor, like Kill Team Cassius has a Terminator and a bike, but doesn't have the Terminator or mounted keywords. Both are infantry keyword. The keywords that come with the rules will be important. Okay, so what is the new Deathwatch Kill Team? What is the sprue gonna be like? It's a sprue of 5 in 40k with squads of 5 to 10. I believe these 11 models are it. That is all the variations of a 5-man squad. And this is not an upgrade sprue for intercessors or any other unit. The kit has its own torsos, heads, and weapons. You can see how the torsos are the same for the weapons defining the pose. The two Phobos Marines have the same pose, the Gravis Armor Marines have the same torso and legs. It's most obvious on the Sergeant, whose torso and legs are the same as the Blade Master. So it's in a kill team of 5 models per team. And I'm sticking to assumed rules for in 40k, not for the kill team game, called Kill Team. So a unit composition for 5 models will be 1 Phobos Marine, 1 Gravis Armor Marine, 1 Sergeant, and 2 Marines in Tacticus armor. The weapon options of the squad: the Sergeant will probably not be able to have a shield anymore. Maybe they can have a plasma pistol instead of a heavy bolt pistol, or perhaps that's an absolver bolt pistol, and maybe they can have the Xenophase blade instead of the power sword. So it would be this model, but with the Xenophase blade. Perhaps that's allowed. As with so much of these, the rules we actually get is what defines the army and the unit. You get 1 Phobos man in your squad of 5. Maybe they're equipped the same regardless of how you kit out the model, with a bolter and combat knives regardless of the model, because not every kill team game variant model has a 40k analog. This may be a scanner, a comms array or Omni Scrambler. This is the head of the scanner man from the Infiltrator squad. The alternative to a scanner is better knives and a Reaver dropshoot. Because they have the same toughness as a man in Tacticus armor, there may be no difference in rules between a Tacticus man with bolter and a Phobos man with bolter. At least not in 40k. A squad of 5 has 2 further Marines in Tacticus armor. Probably 1 with big shield or shield and maul, and 1 with a plasma gun or a Stalker bolter? It could be a Stalker bolter, it could be a regular Intercessor bolter. In 9th edition it would have been the heavy pattern. In 10th edition the bolt rifles have fire selectors and have the assault and heavy keywords. It's possible that the shield also fits onto the gunner model, but I think it's unlikely considering how we have the one pose, which is either the shield or the hammer. There are 3 Gravis Marine options. You get 1 Gravis Marine on a sprue of 5. So you choose the frag cannon, or the Infernus Heavy Bolter, or the Heavy Bolt Rifle with grenade launcher attachment. This model may give toughness 6 to the unit, but the kill team rule, assuming Games Workshop remembers to add the kill team rule to it, whether Agents, which follows the Legends rule, which has it stated, or the Adeptus Astartes Deathwatch, which has the kill team rule, the kill team rule changes the toughness rule. The core rules toughness rule tells you to use the highest toughness for the squad's toughness. The kill team rule says you use the most common toughness, and if it's a tie, then pick the highest. So for a unit of 5, they will only be toughness 6 if 3 models are dead and the Gravis Marine is one of the 2 surviving models. The Gravis Armored model may have 5-inch movement, which is slowing the squad, but you get 3 wounds, which makes a good sponge. I think it's less likely that any arms match any model, even any Tacticus armor model. So no shield on the Sergeant, in the same squad as a model with the big hammer. We are of course waiting on 40k rules, but it's nice to be able to see a pattern from previous kits and released rules. This kill team from the game Kill Team looks to be far more versatile than other kill teams like the Sanctifiers or the Space Marine Scouts. Games Workshop has stated that there are 11 options and we have seen all 11. This is 2 sets of a sprue of 5. There are 11 options, you get 10 in the Tomb World Kill Team box. So a squad of 10 will double the options that you have available. In a squad of 10, not a squad of 5, squads of 10 can have 2 big hammers, 2 frag cannons, 2 plasma gunners, 2 Phobos Marines, maybe 1 of each, 1 Sergeant and 1 Blade Master. That is how I expect most people would build their team for 40k if it was a squad of 10. Wait on the rules before you build it. Or don't wait, and we'll kitbash it now. If you have Kill Team Cassius, stand the frag cannon man on a 40mm base. That gives you the base size and also the height for a Gravis Marine, within a few millimeters. The Dark Angel with the plasma pistol and the power sword is now a Sergeant with a power sword and plasma pistol. The Space Wolf with the 2 knives is now a Phobos Marine with 2 knives. The Ultramarine with bolter is now the Deathwatch Marksman, who is so good at sniping that he has a scope on top of his scope with a scope in his eye and a scope on his backpack. Just so you know he's a sniper. That means you're only missing one Marine, so the Chaplain, or more likely the Librarian, could count as a Blade Master with a bolt pistol and special sword if that model is allowed to be taken alongside a Sergeant in the squad. With one 40mm base, you have the conversion, if you think base size matters. To make the new kill team from the existing Deathwatch veterans, if you have a box of them lying next to you waiting to be used, for a squad of 5, use one hammer or shield, because I'm assuming one or the other and that the marksman and Aegis arms are not compatible. Use one frag cannon or one Infernus heavy bolter on 40mm base if you can and want. A Marine with 2 power swords could be the head taker, a Xenophase blade and a bolter for the Blade Master. To represent the disruptor or the marksman, use a bolter and the sniper ammunition loading arm. That gives you a man with a bolter. You could use the stalker pattern bolt gun arm if you wanted. Or we could do it the opposite way. Use the new models for kit bashing. The Phobos Marine with 2 knives, on a 40mm base, it's a lieutenant with combi weapon or a lieutenant in Phobos armor. The Gravis Marine with a heavy bolt rifle is a captain in Gravis armor. If you had a sprue of 5 and 6 more bodies, you could make all 11 options. If only there was a way to get an unusual number of models, like if they were paper or card, you could print them, but it's not like you can print in 3D. What is this, the future? But you could get the painting model from Games Workshop stores. That's a Tacticus Marine. And it's a common model of the month to give away a Space Marine. We've previously had a Stern Guard given away and a Scout from the Kill Team box given away. So I hope we get one of these as a model of the month. Most people like the new models over the old, despite my subtle attempts to sway it so people pick the 2016 version and I can have an accurate but clickable title. Ah, Deathwatch players reject new Kill Team. Subtle with a capital B. I have been even more obvious in my preferences in the past, and it doesn't work for changing minds, it's just funny. Since most of you like the models, I'll start with the positives of this Kill Team. And I'm not going to go over Firstborn versus Primaris, you each already have a preference and I won't try to change your mind on it. So the good things, we get new models! This is good! In some form, the Deathwatch will continue onto the next edition. Change is something we have to adapt to. We are the Deathwatch. We are used to our rules changing very rapidly. What models are allowed in kill teams, what kill teams are invalid or revalid, or suboptimal, or can't go in transports, that keeps changing and we just have to roll with it. Legends rules are still rules. The only bad thing is losing the army entirely. The shoulder pads of the models are sculpted on. Those are sculpted on symbols, much like the 2016 set. That's good. It's easier to go on than transfers. The sloped Space Marine shoulders are a pain to keep the decal on, though transfers would give you more chapter options. Some of these are nice chapters that don't get much representation, like the Wolf Spears and the Red Scorpions. And of course the first founding chapters are represented. We have the White Scars, this is an Imperial Fist, this is a Salamander, the Ultramarines, the Raptors chapter is the Head Taker, this is a Flesh Terror, and the Guardians of the Covenant, a Dark Angel successor with the crossed swords. The Marksman looks to be from the size of the Emperor, the Plasma Gunner is the only one we can't see well, but I suspect it would be Raven Guard or Iron Hands, just to round out the first founding chapters that don't have an upgrade sprue like the Dark Angels and the Blood Angels. This kill team is a real mixed armor unit without you needing to buy lots of sets. Oh, if you want a Indomitor kill team, well you better get ready to buy the heavy intercessors and aggressors and inceptors to make the squad. This is real mixed armor. This is a much easier squad to have because it's in the box. And the models are about 10% bigger. It's an upscale on the previous one. People like bigger Marines that match the scale creep that's been going on since about 2018. And for this squad, if you already kitbash, and you probably do as a Deathwatch player, it's pretty easy to kitbash this together from other Space Marine models. Not just Kill Team Cassius and the previous Deathwatch Kill Team veteran squad. But by putting the arms on some intercessors, you could make another Deathwatch Kill Team. It looks like you get 2 head options at least per model, and you get a lot of other parts on the sprue. More than we think. 2 backpacks per model, except for the Hammerman and the Sergeant. So this is great for making other Space Marines into Deathwatch, whether the Deathwatch Kill Team or just giving them the Deathwatch feel. And we retain the staple Deathwatch weapons like the Big Hammer, the Shield, the Frag Cannon, the Infernus Heavy Flamer, which I initially thought was really stupid. But yeah, duct taping a Heavy Flamer to a Heavy Bolter, it's what Ellen Ripley did, but bigger. And the Xenophase Blade, if you're a dirty, filthy radical. But maintaining current options feels a bit neutral. Neither good, because we already had it, nor bad, because at least we didn't lose it. So what are the bad sides of the new Kill Team box? There are fewer weapon options. We used to be able to have power swords on everyone, bolters on everyone, combi weapons, shotguns, snipers, 1 maul per 5, 1 heavy thunderhammer per 5, 1 shield per 5. There were a lot of bits. So this new box does feel like a step down. And I don't think it's unfair to compare to the box that they are replacing. There are no Deathwatch pattern shot selectors on the guns. The staple of the Deathwatch is their special ammunition. It was nice to have it represented on the models. The sculpted shoulder pads could be a problem if you're going to have an army and the sculpted pads are attached to the weapon arm. The new Games Workshop kits are not torso and legs, then we attach arms, then we attach shoulder pads. Some of them may be sculpted onto the arm itself. You don't get to choose. If you want the Raptors chapter, they're going to be holding a knife unless you start cutting into the model to try and switch it out. If you don't do that, every Marine with a shield will be a red Scorpion. Maybe not. Maybe there's some variety. It's fine for a squad of 5 or a squad of 10, but once you try and make it an army, it becomes more noticeable that you have exactly the same model. You didn't get that with the 2016 Deathwatch veterans. It's possible that there are more shoulder pads, but in the live stream it was stated that there would be loads. But I believe these 11 shoulder pads constitute loads for a squad of 5. If it was more, they would have to be in different styles, and I doubt Games Workshop would do that. So if not connected to the weapon arm, that still gives you 2 Phobos chapter options, 3 Gravis options, and 6 Tacticus options, limited to these armor sets, which feels worse than the 18 options that fit any model in the 2016 Deathwatch veteran kit. We will see Imperial Fists and alternatives painted like the Crimson Fists, which we already had by repainting current shoulder pads. But there's fewer options and less posability, less easy posability. That's a Games Workshop trend. This kit being part of a trend does not excuse it. Don't cope with a company giving you fewer options than we know they can because they've given us more in the past. It is not as good and it requires more effort to make unique poses. The models are monopose. If you didn't like 5 sets of legs all walking forward on the previous veteran kit, now they're linked to a body that you can't easily pose. It is obvious as soon as you have the sergeant next to the Blade Master that they are the same model. These are Primaris models with Primaris armor, which gives you some difficulty for riding in firstborn transports like the Rhino. Probably that will depend on rules. But as Mark 10 armor, there is no more Mark 8 armor in the game. That was once and done. One unit had it, one time. Then Mark 9 armor didn't exist, then Mark 10 armor is this multi-part armor. It's kind of cool how the Mark 10 armor works, because the Phobos armor is the same as the Tacticus armor, but stripped down. And the Gravis armor is the same Tacticus armor, but with more plates added on. But the unique Deathwatch armor is no more. And then we have to talk about money. The squad will be sold, but it's a Kill Team squad, so you can add at least £10 to a standalone box. It has to have the tokens included to let you play them in Kill Team. For a time, they will only be available in the Kill Team Tomb World Big Box. To match the others, that's going to be £100 or $180 US. When the Kill Team is sold separately, I would expect about £47.50 or $80 US, so you may be better off splitting the Kill Team Big Box with a Necron player. Once it's split, then it's a squad of 10 for about £50. That's more viable if you want to play the game Kill Team. But we have to compare it to the previous price. The Deathwatch veterans were £28 at their final pricing. Prices for the same models have gone up over the last 9 years. So if it's 10 for 47.50, that's a little better than before. If it's 5 for 47.50 or 5 for 37.50, that is still not good. We need more information on the 40k rules and the kill team's final composition. Maybe the Disruptor and the Tacticus Marine with bolt gun have the same rules in 40k. That would make it much easier to kitbash. And once we have the data cards, I can add to the number of tactics that you can perform with the Deathwatch. My darlings and viewers, have a great day of 40k.